All right, welcome back. RealCopStoriesVideos.com, which hopefully you're already on. 360 stories, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes content. Great stuff, man. Backroom stuff, naked people, gross alerts, parking dogs, exploding bodies. Look them all up. They're all mine. 35 years of this. And adding to that, over 190 questions and answers. So if you want to ask me a question, email me at rsbcopstories@gmail.com. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. I'll leave it up so you can see it. Okay, so you ask me a question, and I'll respond to you directly, but this one I can't. I have to put it on tape because somebody asked me, how do you retrain a recruit out of the academy? Oh my gosh, okay. Oh my gosh. So, again, they teach them in the academy the basics, like reading a cookbook. Then now they're out in the restaurant cooking. Same thing. Touch all the basics, what uniform to wear, what kind of hat you're going to have in the kitchen, you know, out here and all that stuff. So when they show up, I said earlier that they don't know anything. No, they know basic stuff, but basically they don't know anything about how the real world works at all. So I covered earlier about a recruit that was starting to change his appearance, and he shouldn't, because he should maintain himself as best he can to represent himself, because he's trying to impress training officers, sergeants, and maybe an occasional lieutenant, so he can make his probation and become a regular officer. You don't just hire him and move him out there. You gotta have something over them to make sure they're squared away. And that way, if something happens, you can fire them. I mean, they don't want to. You don't want to fire guys that their whole life, like myself. I've been wanting to be a cop since I was like 5 years old. I can't remember how far back. So, horrible thing to do. So, but you can't blame someone for failing if they weren't told what not to do or to do. You got to square them away. So that's how we left off the last one. He started to grow funny things and funny things. He wasn't growing like elbows or arms or anything. I mean, he was growing mustaches, beards. He was looking a little salty. I had to square him because he only had a couple months out, and he went back to where he's supposed to be. Okay, so now we go, and I covered this already in the car, discussing things, how to get in the car. It's all, you can look back at the other ones earlier. Now we're going to clear. In other words, we're going to leave the parking lot. And he's sitting there. Again, he's really much a spectator. And I mean, you sit in that car, and I know my partner told me, you do what I do. When we get out of the car, you shadow me, do what I do. That was his instructions in 1972, okay? Do what I do. Okay, fine. Let's look up some of my stories. I literally did what he said for me to do, okay, which is fine. So, he's just sitting there. So off we go, okay? All right, clear us. So he gets a microphone. We didn't have radios on our hips anymore, like nowadays. It's on the car, hardwired. 4A so-and-so clear. Puts it back up on the thing. Okay. Listen up for our call sign. Okay, he's sitting there. You know, how do you listen to something that you don't have no idea what it's going to sound like? Okay, you're like being in the forest. Listen for the sound of a chipmunk. Okay, you know, birds. You know, no. He has no idea. So anyway, so I'll get over that. So the first call we got, literally the first call we got, which is in I'll call it in B officers. In other words, officers don't go out and aggressively do stuff. Is family disputes. And the most things you do as an A officer, which you're out there aggressively, is traffic stops, okay? Because a lot of the B officers, they're just basically making their salary, and they're going through the numbers, and they're going through the motions. That's fine. I mean, you don't really pay, you don't get paid for bounty. You don't get paid extra for more tickets. You don't get paid extra for making arrests. That's something that officers do on their own, okay? Is self-generating. And you get the same pay if you just drive in your car and handle radio calls. Handle traffic accidents, handle lost children. It's all together police work, okay? I don't like to do that because I like to be on the edge and running pretty much free, but other guys want to do that, and that's fine, because if they do that, I don't have to do it. If they handle 3 family disputes a night, that's 3 family disputes I don't have to go to, because I'm busy making a felony arrest or going to foot pursuit down an alley or something. So it's just different personnel. Okay, so one of the hottest, or not hottest, one of the numerous calls we get is family dispute, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to tell you how we handle family disputes, and I'm going to tell you what he did and what he should do on family disputes. Okay, you go, oh, family disputes. Well, watch Cops. I don't like the LAPD one. It's kind of jerky, but, you know, I mean, Cops is like its 38th season or something. I mean, people like to see that. Okay, so family disputes. You get there, you park off some side. You don't go in front of the house. You walk up. You know, both, like I told you earlier, you both walk up like this. You don't walk up like this. If you see officers walk to a radio call like this, they're either rookies or salty. You see that on Cops. I see it on Cops too. They walk up to that front. You're the door. Here they come. Okay, that's a safety mistake. That's a salty mistake, and it's a rookie mistake. None of it's good. The guy comes out of that house, and he starts firing rounds off. He's going to get both of you. If you're walking up like this, he's not going to get both of you. One of you are going to get him. And we're worried about every family dispute call. I had to chain him, and I was trained. You have to expect there's going to be possibly gunfire because you're going to someone's house. And you always think, oh, well, they called. Yeah. They who called? The husband beat up the wife. You think he called? Nope. The wife's beating their children with the phone cord. You think she called? No. Neighbors called. So you don't know who called the police. You know someone did. And someone could be in stress in there. That's why back in my videos where you knock on the door, I'm going off here again, child abuse, and you knock on the door and the guy cracks the door open and says, can I help you? I say, we're here, we need to talk to you. F you, and tries to slam the door. We're there to protect the public. At that time, we don't know who called, and someone called about a poor child being whipped, which is true, by a phone cord. Looked like some kind of one of these slave movies. His back was all ripped. I mean, it was horrible. But the only way I knew that is because I had to kick that door to get in there. You didn't want me to come in. Okay? So you don't know what you're going to get at these places. So and obviously you get a radio call to a house, family dispute or whatever they want to call it. You're there to protect the public, and that means everybody in that house. I've gone in a house where I go room to room looking for, make sure there isn't anybody else in there, making sure there isn't somebody cowering in a closet, make sure some woman isn't hogtied in a room. You got to do that. Okay? Jeffrey Dahmer, for crying out loud, they went to a call, and one of his victims was in there, and they didn't even go in the house because they had a call about an abused child or something, and the cops didn't even go through the front door. He BS'd them and said, oh, everything's fine. They left, and that kid was ultimately killed and eaten. How do I explain that? And I think the officers that were involved got severely disciplined because they didn't do their job. They knocked on the door, I want to get a hamburger, I gotta get off work, I don't have time wait, is everything okay? All right, see you later. No, that's not what you get paid for. You do the ugly work. You get paid, I hate to go off on this, but I gotta tell you, you get paid to do an investigation, just a field of it. You're not a detective. You're doing just the bare bones, Saturday night at midnight when other officers are working except you and your partners. So knock on that door, go in there, make sure everybody's okay. Now remember this is not just going down like England in the old days where you're without a warrant knocking in people's doors and going in and grabbing people. No. This is the United States of America. You can't go in the house without a warrant or a radio call or probable cause and all that good stuff. I don't want people coming into my house unless they have a reason. Cops. But you have a reason. You got to go in there. You got to make sure it's okay. I got on a side thing here, but it drives me crazy of all these stories where they didn't do their job. Okay? So now you go up to the radio. It goes, this is how it's supposed to handle. You go up there, you knock on the door, on the side of the door. Somebody comes to the door. Did you call the police? Most of the time they did. So can we come in? Okay, that's a rhetorical question. I'm coming in. Okay. And I just kind of say, can I come in as I'm going in? Why? Because someone called me, and I'm not going to leave this place until I'm sure, at least when I was there, somebody isn't in there all tied up and beat up or cut up or whatever. It sounds corny, but no, it's not corny. It's our job. We got to do that. Mandated. Okay, so you go in, how's it going? And then, okay, now how you handle it is you have had a regular partner. Usually a husband and wife in there. You take the husband to outside, you take the wife over here. You never have them having a screaming debate over who's at fault. I watch stupid TV. I watch too many cop shows, I guess. Right? The officers stand there with everybody involved. They're screaming at each other. The cops just stand there. No. How are you going to find out what happened with two people who think they're not wrong screaming at each other? Okay? You spread them like this. Spread them apart. And you face each other. See, a 10-year officer would have me here, have my friend sitting here. I would be here. I'm talking to the wife, looking over her shoulder. I see my partner's face looking at me with the man with his back to me talking to my partner. Why? We can watch each other. We make sure he doesn't spin and do something. Make sure she doesn't come out with We're there for our safety and, of course, their safety. They wouldn't call us if they didn't want the cops there. Doesn't make any sense. Okay? They want it solved. So normally, get back to the normal thing. Normally, how you handle it is you talk to each one, and you find out, he's drunk, and she didn't like that, and then he might have slapped her, maybe didn't even slap her, but it just depends on how the level goes here. But they say they're yelling, the neighbors called, or she called, or whatever. Anyway, you're there, and you have to solve this thing. Now, I told you earlier, the laws in California go up and down. You just say when you go to a family dispute, and you shouldn't run people for warrants. Okay, well that kind of defeated the purpose of being there, because if you got a warrant on someone, you can just yank them out of there and solve it for the night. So, problem solved. You can do that, you can't do that. I think they're going up and down, okay? Because they're violating his rights. You have a right to have a warrant, I guess, I don't know. And then drunks too. You used to go to somebody's house. We used to be able to, if the guy was drunk, and the wife didn't want to prosecute because maybe it was a slap or something very minor, then you would hook him up for drunk and take him away. Oh, they said, we can't do that. It's not against the law for a man to be drunk in his own house. Argument is fine, that's fine. But when I'm drunk in my house, I don't beat my wife, and my wife doesn't call the cops. But the liberals don't think that way. They go, oh my gosh, the slippery slope. I always hear that so many times. Once they start coming to your house for that, they're coming to your house for parking tickets, and they just go off, like their heads explode. Okay, It's not that way in the real world, man. No matter what all these liberals want to say, it's not that way in the real world. And unfortunately, for the minorities of this community, blacks and Latinos, they're the ones that are victimized, and all these fancy politicians in their homes are never affected by this. But they have an opinion. Woo! Okay, well, I got my opinion. I'm in the street for 35 years. Anyway, so that's how you handle it. And now I think you're allowed to run them for warrants. So you run both of them for warrants because now you have radios anyway. And then you talk to them. And most of the time, nobody goes to jail. In fact, we used to try to convince the husband to leave for the night. That was usually what we tried to do because it's tough. It's tough to not have a solution, and then they've calmed down. Then you leave the house without anybody leaving. It always made me nervous when I did that because you get in the car with even with your seasoned partner and you go, man, I wish you could have done something. I know, but they won't let us do it. Won't let us do this, won't let us do that. And you drive off, and 2 minutes after you drive off, you could have whacked her because you didn't solve anything. You just basically kept them apart for 20 minutes while you're there. They calm down a little bit, and then you say, well, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. If we come back next time, you're going to go to jail. Okay, fine. And then, which is probably true, but then you leave, and then, So I always like to try to put somebody in jail if it could do anything, but it doesn't work out that way. So anyway, so that's how you handle it. Your negotiators, your babysitters, we used to say that a lot. You try to get, usually the guy will say, you try to do the macho thing, man, why don't you be the man thing of this thing? Why don't you man up? And do you have a friend you can go to tonight? Just tonight, And then we used to use a lot of sexist things to him. We'd say, women, man. And we do that not so she can hear us. We're trying to get him. We're trying to be psychologists, physiologists, doctors, whatever. We'd say, how women are, man. He goes, yeah, I know. I said, man. I said, no matter what you say to them, they're not gonna believe you. They think you're a liar, and they're always right. I mean, I'm using this, and I've been married 46 years. That's not the way I think about it with me and my wife. But these people, you have to kind of get down to really low level. Okay, yeah, you're right. So what you do? Do me a favor. Can you just find a friend and just go stay with him for the night, and then you can sober up a little bit, and she can sober up, and just so we don't have to come back, and usually there's a couple of kids sitting there too, always. Your kids, they're kind of afraid right now, and I'll do that. Would you mind? Thank you. I appreciate that. And you talk to them at a regular level, a regular guy, and I'll tell you, 99% of the time, yeah, that's right. And you want to say goodbye to her? No, I don't want to talk to her. No, or. Oh, I'm going out of here, see you later, and see, that gives him an out. And a lot of times we say, well, tell her you're gone. So he'd go, yeah, I'm going to leave. And then she'd go, I don't care. He goes, yeah, you're right, but I'm leaving, I'm the man. Now you've got him saying that using your vernacular, so to speak, that I'm leaving, I'm the man in this group, I'm going to be the one to get out of here. And they go, I don't care how he gets out of here. And it's nice that way, because that way he won't complain to the officer. No, he's doing it, you put that little thought in his head, and now he's using it to get out of there. And that's all you want, because why? Why? Because at the end of the night, you want to avoid violence. That's why you're doing this. Luckily, you got there and there wasn't any. Now, that's the one. That's a call with no violence. Okay, yelling, screaming, throwing stuff. We have videos where throwing food all over the place and all that good stuff. Kind of funny. But what's different is if she got hit or he nowadays with the feminine movement, somebody gets a visible injury or both of them. The law changed over the last 15 years or so. You just take them both to jail for spousal abuse. That really solves it. In fact, that really actually, at first I thought, oh my gosh, now they're going to go after the women now. Well, you know what? It's easier for the officers now. You roll up and she's got a blouse face and he's got scratches on his neck. Piece of cake, hook them all up, let's go. Because that solves the problem. And let them figure it out the next day. And the district attorney never files the charges. They never want to press. Next day they're all sober. I love my husband. I think you're the best. Yeah, but that night, especially with kids around, and luckily you got neighbors that'll take care of the kids, and everybody's screaming. You've seen this on television, and they're yelling at each other, and okay, fine. But again, these poor cops. You got to think about the officers once in a while when you watch these shows, what they have to put up with, and they have to do this. Is we get paid for it. I enjoyed it in the sense of it had great satisfaction when I could break up this fight, have somebody go home, or someone goes to jail, and now the kids and the neighbors, family will show up. Everybody can go to sleep that night. Okay. 2 people in custody, that's okay. But everybody else gets to relax. The kids go to a nice little quiet home. They get their jammies on, somebody's house, or their aunt or uncle, whatever it is, and it solved the problem, at least for that night. And maybe there's no way of telling all the things that the hundreds of these I went to, and say my partners, no way of telling whether they stopped fighting each other after we encountered them. Who knows? We'll never know. You never know what good you did, because there's no way of knowing. That maybe out of 10 of those, 2 of them reconciliated, 3 of them aren't fighting anymore. You never know how that goes. There's no way of knowing. Hollywood makes that stuff up all the time, but you're hoping that at least it stops it for a little while. So that's how you handle a normal family dispute. I'm running out of time here. A normal one with a normal partner, a equivalent partner. That's how you do it. Okay. next time I'll tell you what's happening with the recruit. Okay. All right. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time.